We're up to the daf on Kuf Yud Ches on the base as we conclude Masechta above Metzia. Shtei Ginois Zu al Gav Zu. You have two gardens, one on top of the other. So if you would like this, it's like this, and it's an angle. It's like an angle. In other words, one garden's here, one garden's below, and now draw a line between my fingers, and there's a crop growing out of the middle. There's a crop growing out of the middle. Okay. Vayerek ben Tayim. Reb Meir Omer shel Elyon. It belongs to the Elyon because it's growing l'chayre. It's growing in his earth. Reb Yehuda Omer shel Tachton because it's growing in his airspace. So I'm Reb Meir. Em yirtza Elyon likach es afarai. If the Elyon would want to take away his earth, and kan yerek, you wouldn't have no yerek. So obviously it goes to him. That's Reb Meir's svara. I'm Reb Yehuda. Em yirtza Tachton lamalis es ginasai. If the one below wants to go ahead and fill his gina, right? He wants to go ahead and build it up, and kan yerek, you wouldn't have a yerek. So I'm Reb Meir. Right, since they both can go ahead and be moch on each other, right? So therefore, let's see where the yerek comes from, which is obviously from the ground. It comes from the ground. So I'm Reb Shimon. So notice this guy's a taina, fill up the earth. This guy's a taina, why to take away the earth? So bottom line is, it says Reb Meir grows from the earth. I'm Reb Shimon. Kol she Elyon yachal livshait es yadai, that the Elyon is able to go ahead and put his hand down. Velito, Arihu shalai, it belongs to him. B'ashar shel tachtain. So whatever he can get by pulling it down, he gets, and anything beyond that goes to the below, one below. Amarava, be kare kuli amle pligi the Elyon have. The ikar part of that's in the earth itself, that everyone, even Revi Yehuda, will be made that goes to the upper gina. Ki pligi b'noifai. They're arguing by the knife that is coming out, the branch. Right? We put the branch after its root, and therefore the Baal Elyon gets it. Rabbi Yehuda says we do not say what you put the knife after the ikar. You don't put the branch after the ikar, but it goes in the airspace, and therefore what? Therefore the Baal Tachton gets it. And now the Gemara is going to bring two machlokes in two different places, the same machlokes. That Rabbi Meir says you go after the ikar, and Rabbi Yehuda says you go after the knife, you go after the branch. V'azla tamayu, the Tanya. Hayotzim and Agesa. So I go ahead, I'm selling you a tree. We had a Gemara earlier, you sell 3 trees, you get the land in between. But this, you're selling 1 tree. And so your person owns the tree, but you own the karka. Now you're going to have a tree growing out of the tree. The question is, does it go to the bala karka, or does it go to the bala tree? So there's the Gemara. So Hayotzim and Agesa, if it goes out from the trunk, or min ashrashim, or from the roots, Harielu shel bala karka, divrei Meir. So Meir, you always have to go after the karka, you go after the ikar. So wherever it's coming out from doesn't make a difference. I'm going after the karka. It's going to belong to what? The karka, not to the tree. Rabbi Yehuda, no, it depends. I guess if it comes to the trunk of the tree, shel bala ilan, that goes to the bala ilan. When shloshim shel bala karka. But if it's the shloshim, it goes to the bala karka, which is just what we said, that everyone's moida when it comes to the ikar, that you go after the bottom. So that's the machlokes by Mekach and Memkar. A second machlokes, a second example of a machlokes. B'tran nami gabi orla. A similar machlokes with gabi orla. Ki I gavna. But Elon hayotzim in ageza, an Elon that goes to what and yotzim in ageza umin ashrashim chayiv orla. So you have a tree. Tell us that you have a tree that is more than 3 years old. So therefore, you took care of the orla, and if 4 years you took care of the netter of light problem. So it's the 5th, 6th year of a tree. No problem with orla. Now you have a baby tree growing. So if the tree is growing, baby tree is growing from the tree, you'd be pata from orla. If it's growing from the ground, it'd be a new tree, you'd be chayiv in orla. So the same machlokes would exist over here as well. Ilon yotzim min agesa min ashrashim chayiv orla. You go after the ground. So the tree is considered part of the ground, a brand new tree, and therefore it's in the first 3 years, it's orla. You don't even know, because we're going to consider it part of the tree. So you have the same machlokes in 3 venues. We have it above Metzia, we have it in Mekach Memkar, and we have it by Orla. The tzricha, you need to tell me the last 2. You need to tell me by Orla, and you need to tell me by Mekach Memkar. If you tell me the first one by Mekach Memkar, where the person sold the tree, but how come Rav Yehuda, you go after the knife, mishum de, because it's clearly just a monetary question. Who owns the tree? Avagabi Arla the Surah, but Arla, which is Yeridea, Isavaheta, Aim Moidle Rabmeya, that we be good machmir and go after the ground. and say it's chayv and orla. If you tell me the case of orla, but come Reb Meir, because it's a din of issa. Issa is always more chomer than mammon, right? When it comes to Mekach and Memka, Ema Moidele Reb Yehuda, that you go after the mammon, so it's no, you don't. Reb Shimon, Kol Shal and Yachal Liv Shait. The Reb Shimon says it depends. You're standing above and you're reaching below, and as you reach below, you can go ahead right and take it, and you could take it, and that goes to the Baal Elyon, and whatever you can't get goes to the Tachtain. Ami Rabbi Yanai ubavachlo Yanis. First, he doesn't put himself Yanis in a situation of danger. He doesn't put himself in a situation of danger.
Like standing on top of the ladder.
Okay, we'll have a better explanation you have to share. I don't want it on the recording, but you'll see why. But you'll all
think about it during the CM. That'll be the
Picture in
right. Yeah, yeah.
maybe some of the guys can show us showing top.
I will show you something that you will guarantee to laugh. Boy Ravanan, Vitem Rav Yirmiyah, Magila Noifoy. Let's say the person on top can get to the branch, Vein Magila Ikroy, but he can't get to the root. Or Magila Ikroy can get to the root, Vein Magila Noifoy. My Gemara says Teku. The Gemara concludes Teku. Ama Ephraim Safra, the Sefer Tamid Shel Rabbi Reish Lakish. Mishun Tamid Reish Lakish, Mishun Reish Lakish, the name of Reish Lakish. He heard it in the name of Reish Lakish. I mean, he didn't hear it from directly. He heard the name of Reish Lakish. Allah Kreb Shimon. The Allah is like Rosh Shimon, that any yerek that you're able to go ahead and be above and reach and touch, that would belong to the guy above, and what he can't reach would belong to the Tachtai. So Amrua Kamei de Shava Malka. They said this din of Reb Shimon in front of Shava Malka. Machlokes, if Shava Malka was the king of Persia, but Shava Malka was Shmuel. Right. Amalahu, the Melech Persian said, Apiryo Nipne, that his chain, right, Apiryo Nipne, his chain reaches chain. That it was such a chenetic pshat. Reb Shimon, the hukra of Shimon Shamadin said, the period chen should go and glory should reach Reb Shimon for saying this thing. Hajjalach Abayis Aliyah, Bestikla Masechta Metzia. Hajjalach Masechta Bab Metzia, which Hajjalach Daitchala Masechta Bab Metzia, Daitchala, and this same Menach Masechta Bab Metzia, Latishma Minan, Lobla Minim Dase. Hajjalach Masechta Bab Metzia, Hajjalach, Daitchala Masechta Bab Metzia, Daitchala, and this same Menach Masechta Bab Metzia, and this same Minan, Lobla Minim Dase. Hajjalach Masechta Bab Metzia, Hajjalach, Daitchala Masechta Bab Metzia, Daitchala, and this same Menach Masechta Bab Metzia, Latishma Minan, Lobla Minim Dase. Here's some Fenecha Adnei Lehenu, Leila Vasenu Shtei Torah Esro, Musenu Lamazeh. Teimanu Elam Haba, Chanina Ba Papa, Rami Ba Papa, Nachman Ba Papa, Achai Ba Papa, Abamori Ba Papa, Rafim Ba Papa, Rachish Ba Papa, Sucha Ba Papa, Adam Ba Papa, Dora Ba Papa, Harif No Adnei Lehenu, Vasribi Yisrael, Schab, Fino Pias Ba Yisrael, Benfias Amcha Beis Yisrael, Nia Kulon Nachta Betzasenu, Vet says Amcha Beis Yisrael, Kulon Yeshem Echav, Blon Deser Sechel, Be'avi Techach Meni Betzach Kilam Hili, Hili Bi Tam Bechukach Laman Loi Voish, Leilam Leshach Kudach Kivan Chisani, Baruch Atah Adonai Lam Den Chukacha, Amin Amin Ani Solaved. Let him nachlu fenecha Adnei Lehinu v'levasenu shesamta v'chenu meshu v'sabeda shenu samta v'chenu meshu kronos. Shana mashkim v'hem mashkim. Ana mashkim l'dvei Torah v'hem mashkim l'dvei B'Telem. Ana melam v'hem melam. Ana melam l'kap Mesacha v'hem melam l'kap Mesacha. Ana ratzim v'hem ratzim. Ana ratzim l'chayil. Haba v'hem ratzim v'shachas. Shnemar v'yata l'hem davidem v'shachas. V'anshi dom mirma v'echsu v'hem v'yef tachbach. Here some fenecha Adnei Lahai. Shem she'atzani l'misachim misachim b'em Metzia. Kein tatzani l'haskim misachim l'perim. L'saimam l'ilmod l'lamei l'ishmo l'asa l'chayim. As called divrei savat v'sach b'yavo. V'schus kol Tanoim v'Amoraim v'Tamid Chachamim Yamod Li Lazari Shlo Yomish Torah V'Pi V'Zari V'Zari Adolam. Tiskayin Bi B'Sach Lechacha Tancha Yisach B'Shachmacha Tishma Olecha V'Kisoysa Hisi Sichecha Kivi Yirbu Yimacha V'Sivacha Neshachayim Oirach Yomim B'Yamina B'Smola Oysa B'Chabad Oysa L'Amitain Admai B'Sitam L'Shalom. Kadesh Mi Rabba V'Asa V'Schagasu Chayom Yisrael V'Sakot Chayoma V'Katu B'Shalem Shabol V'Echol B'Gavol V'Merkel V'Chol V'Chol Las Vasa Puchana Dishmai Lasrei V'Yamlet Kusha B'Chui Machus Ever Tukay Yathma B'Kanim B'Kay Mishikay Kay Omer B'Kay 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 Yisrael B'Kay 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 Shalom b'Rimov Yasham Lein about Yisrael b'Rimov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov.
Be careful shaking.
Let's not overdo it.
No hugging.
Okay, we should just begin, okay, go, you just go, I'm just gonna say the Mishnah and you go get the food. He's going, thank you. Thank you. This is it's a big accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay,
Are we doing,
okay, so just to begin the Masechta, we'll of course go over it tomorrow, much more being. Just simply you have a shutfin there in the chutzner. Remember, the chutzner is a place in front of the house that people go ahead and they would do all the shtamshus. Remember, from Masechta Eruvin, in front of the house, you had the chutzner. People would use it. So there's a chutzner that you can force a chalukah, you can divorce the division. If it's 4 amos by 4 amos, if it's less than 4 amos by 4 amos, excluding the 4 amos in front of the door, you can, if you don't have to force it, but if they agree to it, they could. Now, when it's speaking about they're putting up, Mendy, I'm going to take away food from you. It's speaking where I want. You didn't even hear. Go ahead and you each one would have to give up their property depending on the size of the fence. And so the Mishnah is discussing that. They want to make mechitza. In this case, mechitza is going to be a wall and a partition to divide the properties. So they go ahead and build it in the middle. Which are, we just mentioned, met this the other day. These are stones that are not, they're not cut. These are cut stones. Kfisin, these are half bricks, levanim, or full bricks. Boinim, whatever the minute is. And then the Mishnah discusses, depending upon the brick you use, you're going to have to give a different amount. Okay, that's the beginning. Okay, just a thought. Thank you. Okay, so there's a very interesting case at the end of Pei Gimel Lamed Aleph. It's the last Gemara in the 6th parak of Sechus Simanim. It says, Rabbi Barachana Tavru Hanu Shikuloi Chavita Dechamra. So Rabbi Barachana, he was having these porters transferring wine. They will pay Shea, and they broke the wine. So they mechuyev to pay. Shakal Legumlayu, and they didn't pay him. What he did was he took their clothing. He took their cloaks. Asu Amru L'Rav, they came in front of Rav. They wanted to get their cloaks back. So Amr Lei, so Rav said to Rabbi Barachana, Havaluk L'Mayu, give them their cloaks. Give them their cloaks. So Amalei, Rabbi Rachana said to Rav, Dina Hachi, is that the din that you have to give them the cloaks? After all, they would pay Shea and they owe me money. So Amalei, yeah, that's the din. It says Mantelech b'derech toivim. Now the pasuk says Mantelech b'derech toivim v'orchas tzadikim tishmar. Mantelech b'derech toivim. You should go out in the way of toivim, and therefore you should go in the way of toivim. So therefore, if you want to be a toiv, you go l'fnei mishur sadin, and you give them back something rightfully that you don't have to give back to them. Okay, and so Yoav Lukumai, Rabbi Rachana gave him the cloak. So Amalei, Aniyanon. They told Rav, we're Aniyim. You know, we went to work for money. We're Aniyim. We're Tachinan Kuli Yuma, right? And we work very, very hard. We're Kafinan. We're starving. For less than meat, we have nothing to eat. So Amalei, so Rav told Rabbi Barachana, Zil have igrahu. Go give them their wages. So Amalei Dina Hachi. So he said, this is the din. So Amalei in v'archas sadikim tishmar. So tell it to the Gemara. Clearly the din is what? He doesn't have to give him anything. They have to pay Adrabah. They have to, he doesn't know anything. They would have to pay him for the wine. So he took something. He took something in lieu of the wine. He gave it back. So said, is that the din? And what do you tell him? Yeah, that's the din. Why? Then he says, 1 second. You know, we don't have bati, we have nothing. We're depending on this money that we did for the wine for food. So Rav said, pay him. And when he said, is that the din? He goes, yeah. He goes, Tishma. So I was wondering, why they break up the pasuk? Why they break up the pasuk? Right? In other words, you're saying one hand, it's one straight pasuk. Why did he say the first part of the pasuk and the second part of the pasuk? So there's a Vilna Gaon. I mentioned this. I heard it from Rabbi Yisrael Bronstein. There's a Vilna Gaon in Mishlei, and he says fantastic. He says the following. I'll paraphrase. I won't read it. He says, there's an Indian of being going l'fnei Meshur Sadin. That means to be mevata. Somebody owes you something, you can be mevata. Therefore, mevata. They owe you money. They owe you. You can be mevata on that. You can be mevata on that. That's toiv. That's toiv. But to go ahead one step more and to give to somebody, that's not toiv. That's tzidkus. That's tzidkus. So the pasuk's broken up. When you go ahead, what, and you gave him back the cloak that was rightfully theirs, you were mafata on what you had, then you would toiv. But when you went and paid them, tzaddikim tishmor, then you would tzaddik. Then you would tzaddik. That's in the tzidkus. Says the Gra, and only the Gra can say this. He goes, "L'man telech derech toivin." A derech is a big place. A lot of people can be mavata, but for orchos tzaddikim, the way of the tzaddik, the orchos of tzaddik is what? It's much smaller. That's more. It's something that resonates. That some way, somehow, I just know that any one of us has been in this position of being mavata in our lives, and I'm sure we all have, because we're all toivim. I paskin. We're all toivim. But to go the extra mile, to think of somebody, put yourself in somebody's place, and do something like that. That's taket tzaddik. I had a story once. This is a great story, a really great story, and it shows tzidkus. I had a girl who was a giyaris. She was a giyaris. Her mother was a caretaker. They came from Houston, Texas. They didn't have a dime into their name. Took her into school. She comes to me, and she says to me, Rabbi Stern, I dreamt my whole life of going to seminary. My whole life I dreamt of going to seminary. And my mother's been saving penny by penny, and I've been working penny by penny. We're $5,000 short. $5,000 short. Can you get me a loan? Okay, hang up the phone. I call a fellow. I say to him, whatever his name is, he won't want, I would tell you, but he won't want to be known. And he said, I said, you know what? And he's helped me in the past. I told him the story. He goes, $5,000? She needs much more than $5,000. $5,000 is going to pay for seminary. She needs money for the plane. She needs money for clothing. And he gave me $10,000. That's tzidkus. That's tzidkus. That's it. That's going the extra mile. And I think it's something that we all should think about. And just again, I think the bottom line is we do our best for learning. And again, but most of us don't spend our lives learning. And most of us have to be samech on to get to the real place in the real world. Is Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us these opportunities. So these opportunities exist, and we should all go ahead and take advantage of them. Right. And Baruch Hashem, I thank you for everyone for Metzia is my Waterloo. That's my hardest Masechta. For me, guys, shots the rest of the way, I'm going downhill. Everything is good. Baruch Hashem.
That's very nice.
Thank you.